Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Untangled. We are on episode 61. I have no idea what the thumbnail said, but we're on episode 61. Untangled. Yay! Really good to be here with you guys. Hi, Miley. Hi, Yoga Joe Guy. Good morning. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Lars. It's so good to see you. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Sama. Hi, Amy. Hi, Sabine. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Gods. Holding steady. Hello. Hi, Philip. It's really good to be here with you guys. How is everyone feeling? Hi, Kelly. Hi, Stephanie. If you are new to my channel, this is Untangled, where we talk about all the different uncomfortable ways in which we are awakening and unraveling from the illusion, moving through this evolution in consciousness and the very human ways in which it looks and feels, and just coming together from all over the world to spend an hour, recognizing that we're not crazy. We're not alone in this. We don't remember how to do this because it's new in terms of the evolution in consciousness and physical form. There is no playbook. Nobody's done it before. And we all remember that we came down into the physical body to do this. This is a deep, deep, deep remembrance. And, one of my promises to my soul or my spirit when I incarnated was to do everything I could to remember myself what I'm doing here on the planet, and then walking humanity into that remembrance themselves. And so nothing's a mistake. There are no accidents. You aren't here by mistake. You aren't here by accident. Not only here listening to this message, but also on the planet. Um, it's absolutely impossible to have found yourself in the human experience and waking up out of the illusion right now, thinking, why is this happening? This can't be happening, blah, blah, blah. All of the ways in which we look at our world, we look at our life, we look at the external world, and we say, this can't be right. This is wrong. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't look like this. As if we are in control of this evolution. We're not. This evolution is a shift in consciousness, which is energy, in a physicality, on a physical planet, in a physical body. And this beautiful ego that we have as the human that you and I are, that we think we are, which we're not, but we think we're these beautiful humans walking around with these names. Hi, Kate. So good to see you. We think we're in control of this process, and one of the most humbling awarenesses that I have had, and hopefully you have had and are continuing to have, is that, holy shit, I'm not in control of this. That every single moment of every single day is gifting me an opportunity to see the illusion, to see what I think I am, to see how powerful thought is, to see how attached I am to the labels that I believe myself to be, to see how attached I am to stories and how stories take me down imaginary paths, right? Only to lead me back onto the one true path, which is the awakening back into who you have always been, which is spirit in form or God in form, awakening out of the illusion of physicality, right? And it's no joke. It's not easy. You find yourself in a room that's been somewhat pretty quiet most of your life, perhaps. And all of a sudden the lights start to come on and the aperture increases, and you start to see more and more, you start feeling more and more, you start hearing more and more. Your senses are activated more and more, and it feels like it's getting worse. It feels like this cannot possibly be the way. And I'm here to remind you that that is the way. This is the way, right? This is the way. The way is inward. The way is seeing more, feeling more, hearing more. Yes, 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 yes. This is how we do it. This is what it looks like. I want to read something. Before I get going, I've already got going, but before I do get going, I do want to spend some time. This is how we do it. I do want to try to spend some time answering some of your questions. Um, so Oh, okay. God, I got distracted. All right. I do want to answer some of your questions, you guys, but before I do that, I want to share a couple things. One, I'm going to be in Dublin, Ireland on Sunday for a 1-day workshop, an entire day workshop. And a lot of you are not able to be there live. So we do have virtual tickets. So you can join us from anywhere all over the world virtually. It's going to be a really fun workshop from 10:30 to 5:30 Dublin time, all day. And down below in the description box will be a link to join us virtually if you would like to. Highly recommend it. You can sit from your own home, doing whatever you want, and spending the day with me and all of the beautiful humans that will be there live. So check it out. That's my only. That's my only. Whatever this is, whatever that was that I just did. Also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, because YouTube's got these strange, crazy algorithms now. And apparently it matters if if the like button is hit and the subscribed button is hit. So do both of those if you'd like. All right, I'm going to read something really quickly. So, when will the virtual workshop be available on replay? Good question, Tina. No idea. I'm actually not in charge of it. Paul from Positive Life Dublin is in charge of the whole entire event. So I have no idea. Always hit the like button. Okay. Did you ever read Power versus Florence by David Hawkins? I have not. Okay. So, really quickly, so many of you have been following me for a while. You know that my favorite topic to talk about is the evolution in human consciousness. Many of you know that I wrote a book called The Divine Design. So, I have been feeling called, and many of you know that I rarely talk about this book. The book that took me 4 years to write, and the book that is about our history on this planet and how we got here, why we got here, and where we're going. I've had really powerful guidance this past month to start talking about this book again and to start kind of embodying it more. So I want to read something. I was in meditation this morning doing the outline for Dublin, and I opened it up to this. So take a listen. Okay, so this was channeled information, which means that it just came from higher dimensional frequencies, higher dimensional beings, which is also us. I'm not going to get into that debate of what it is, but it's spoken from something or someone else. Okay. All right. So this is what they say. Do not buy into the belief that the world is falling deeper into chaos. Remember what we told you. Earth, which is the planet, okay, and consciousness herself, has anchored a new reality, a new world. Earth is in a fifth dimensional field and is waiting for humanity to meet her there. Remember, nothing that is occurring on the earth in this moment, both within you and around you, is an accident. This is how an entire human collective evolves into higher states of consciousness. You are currently experiencing and watching the trauma or density from the human collective be pulled out of the darkness, which means the shadow, not seen, and into the light. So if you yourself are really struggling right now, this is the evolution. All the things that have been stuffed down, hidden, ignored, denied, sort of looked at, but not really accepted and allowed, it's going to come up. It's going to be seen. Everything in that external world is going to continue to unravel. And there is nothing wrong. This is how an evolution arises and occurs. So if you're struggling, fuck yeah, you're struggling. Excuse my language, but of course you are. The world looks like it's struggling. Of course it is. We have to see the darkness. The darkness just being what has been in the shadows. Darkness is not bad. Darkness is not wrong. Darkness is just what has not been seen. And usually, what has not been seen, what has been hidden, is what we as a collective have not wanted to see unconsciously. And now we don't necessarily have a choice in what we are seeing. Now we are seeing, right, the darkness. Now we are seeing the darkness within ourselves, which just needs to be seen in order to be allowed. And in the external world, it needs to be seen in order for us to choose new ways of being. Same with yourself. So, just like your own trauma, the human collective trauma must be seen, felt, and shifted into higher frequencies. The way you move through this is by seeing the trauma, feeling the trauma, and then choosing who you want to be right now. And it's that who you want to be right now part that I want to talk about because I don't know about you, but most likely your world is getting louder and louder. Emotions may be getting more intense. You're just feeling a lot more, right? Thoughts are getting louder and louder and louder. Perhaps you're recognizing more and more thoughts. You're seeing more and more thoughts. Perhaps you're looking out into the external world and you're recognizing all of the chaotic thoughts that the world has and all of the ways in which humans respond from trauma and from pain and from suffering. Perhaps you are so exhausted that you don't want to keep going, right? You don't want to stay awake. You don't want to continue to feel. Perhaps you've kind of found yourself in states of peace and stillness and calm, even in the midst of whatever may be happening in your world. That somehow, there are these magical moments where you are calm, even though nothing has changed in your life. Right. What you and I are going through and experiencing is a shift in the way in which you and I are going to be on this planet. This has very little to do, and this is not a popular belief, but it is how we shift consciousness. It is the evolution. This has very little to do with changing the systems out there, political systems, educational systems, environmental systems, banking systems. This isn't about changing those systems because those systems are run by humans and every human is in charge of deciding how they're going to be. This is about changing the way that you are being on this planet. That's what this evolution is all about. Now, when you wake up out of the illusion and you start to see what you're in and you start to see the chaos and the manipulation and the greed, whatever you want to call it, climate, the way in which the weather is controlled and manipulated, the way in which the government lies and manipulates to us, the way in which we are fed fear in order to be controlled, the way in which pharmaceutical companies continue to lie to make millions and billions of dollars, the way that there's some sort of population control, millions of humans are going to die. I don't know, you name it. Those are just stories that are unraveling, that will continue to unravel, that are being done by humans. And if you think that you're going to change those humans, you're very, very wrong. Thank you, Miley, for that super chat. You change yourself. And the way that you start reorganizing the way in which you look at this evolution and be in this evolution is that you have to go inward. And you have to recognize that the focus, the percentage of focus that you should be having externally versus internally, there should be more internal focus than external focus. We will continue to be in more suffering, more fear, more restriction, more fight, more divide if we continue to keep the lens focused on the external world and all of the horrible things that are happening. That's not to say that it's not important to be aware of what's occurring. It's extremely important to be aware of what's happening on the planet. But how do we change and shift an entire planetary body, an entire human collective? Inwardly. You have to go inward. These systems are controlled by humans. You could replace all the humans you want and put them in the positions to be running these systems that we have. But if that human that you decide to put in power doesn't choose new ways of being, it's just going to perpetuate the same systems. This is what we don't understand. This is what we've forgotten. We think that we can tear down an entire system just because we see how the system should run. You can't. Every human has to wake up. Every human has to start to choose how they're going to be. So what that means for you is that the more that you go inward, the more that you realize how you are controlled by fear. And how are you controlled by fear? What are you afraid of? Stop blaming the external world for your internal experiences. Stop blaming these people. Stop blaming these systems. When you go inward and you start taking full responsibility for your inner experience. Thanks, Martin, for that super chat, my friend. Then you realize who you are. You realize the power that you have. And the power that you have is that you get to choose how you navigate this world. You get to choose how you're going to respond and react in this world. You get to start to recognize the power of the thoughts that you have all day long. You get to recognize the emotions that you still believe to be you. You get to realize all of the behaviors that you do that you're judging. And when you start really going inward and investigating your inner world, you're able to step back out into the external world with an open heart. You're able to step back out into that world more aligned and calm and still. So you're not getting into arguments. You're not getting into fights with people. You don't have as many triggers anymore. You're not trying to be right out there. You're not trying to instigate or hurt people. There is this more profound way of being that you are being called into by going inward more and more. It's naturally going to happen. And if we don't listen to it, we will find ourselves continuing to blame the external world. True freedom is found within your own inner world. And it's much easier to look out at the external world and bitch and moan and complain about all the ways in which it needs to change. But the moment that you go inward over and over and you sit in stillness, which is extremely uncomfortable, you sit in quiet, you sit with the you that you think you are. And most of you are probably being called to do that more and more, and you really don't want to. I get it. You feel like you're missing out. You feel like you're recognizing how much you hate your job. You're starting to realize just all the ways in which you're being that you're judging. You don't want to be these ways, but you don't have the answers. You don't need the answers. You just need awareness. You just need to sit quietly. You just need to recognize the judgments that you hold. When we still our inner world, we can still the outer world. When we can sit in all of the tumultuous tornadoes in our inner world, we will be able to choose new ways of being in that outer world with love, with peace, with calm. So this is being able to stand in a battlefield with everybody, which is what we're in. This evolution to me is a battlefield. That's the greatest analogy that I can think of because it's not easy. It feels like we're in battle a lot with ourselves or with the world out there, right? And battlefield isn't a bad word, a negative word. Whatever story you want to place on it, go ahead. But we are here to step out of the illusion. And the illusion is that you are not safe. Thanks, Richard, for that super chat. Really appreciate it. The illusion is that you're not safe. The illusion is that you're not free. The illusion is that you are your thoughts and your emotions and your behaviors. The illusion is that you need to be in control of everything. The illusion is that there's something wrong with you. The illusion is that you need to be afraid. The illusion is that something outside of you is going to save you. The illusion is that and not until you are healed will you be able to be, in an open-hearted space on this planet. Not until you're healed will you be able to be calm. Not until you're healed will you be able to um, help others. Not until I'm healed will I be able to ... That's not true. That's a complete and utter program. It's all deep, deep programming. In this moment right here, right now, as you and I are sitting together and having this conversation with hundreds of others from all around the world, there is an essence within you that is beyond your comprehension, waiting for the you that you think you are to settle back into it. And it doesn't need, thank you so much for the super chat gods. You don't need to heal specific traumas in your life to be who you have always been, which is absolute divine light, God essence, whatever. And everything right now in the external world is going to pull you out of you. The amount of distractions on this planet are intensifying. And the amount of information that we think we need to consume in order to be in the know is an absolute distraction. If you find yourself constantly being pulled into distractions, into what's coming next, what do I need to prepare for? What's, what kind of corruption is happening? What this, what that? Pay attention to where the focus is. The focus, your lens is looking out, right? And how long are you looking out? Are you aware when you're looking out and listening to the distractions? Are you aware of your inner world at the same time? Are you aware of what you're thinking and what you're feeling? Are you aware of the energies that are moving through your body? The way in which we will stay in a controlled state, the way in which we will thank you, Ashley, for that super chat. I really appreciate it. The way in which we will stay in suffering, in fear, controlled, is by continuing to focus on the external world without putting as much, if not way more focus on our internal world. We talk about it a lot. A lot of people talk about it, right? Going inward, going inward, going inward. But that is what this evolution is all about. Because it's not about the I focus, focusing on me, focusing on me, focusing on me. It's about recognizing how you are unconsciously living so that you can peel back the layers of that unconsciousness. Unconsciously living, meaning that you are being controlled by your thoughts that aren't yours, they're just thoughts. You are being controlled by emotional states. You are being controlled by the illusion that you're supposed to be in control. You're supposed to be efforting. You're supposed to be, combative against fears. You're supposed to be like these ways in which we unconsciously live have to be unraveled first so that you can be in an aligned, free state within your own body. And then it's go time, right? And most of us are doing this like this simultaneously. We're going in, we're going out, right? Or we're going in, we're going out, we're going in, we're going out, right? Most of us aren't just going in or just going out. There's this, uh, most of us being the ones that are consciously choosing to awaken right now. So there's this ebb and flow that's happening. But we have to be able to kind of master our inner world, our internal world, and recognize what is still unconsciously controlling us, what thoughts are just taking us throughout the day, and being aware of that, allowing those thoughts to just be, recognizing what emotional states you still believe yourself to be and that aren't okay. Recognizing that the more aware we become, the more we're able to stand in this battlefield with kindness, with compassion, with love. You can't just force yourself, I'm just going to open my heart and be love. Well, are you allowing yourself to have all the thoughts you're having? Do you recognize the thoughts that are controlling you in your own mind? Are you allowing yourself to have all the emotional states that arise? Because if you're not allowing yourself to feel all the emotional states that are arising within you, I can guarantee it. You're going to have a conniption fit when you're in the battlefield watching everything unravel and you start losing your shit out there. Thank you, Carrie, for that super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Um, if you can't feel everything that's arising in your own inner world, and the reason that is so important is because we are designed to be able to feel everything and not lose our shit and think that we have to change it. It is extremely important to master that in your own inner world so that when you go out into the external world, you don't lose your shit over what's happening. You don't all of a sudden find yourself flying off the handlebars because the government's doing this and the government's doing that. You somehow start finding yourself calm. You find yourself with an open heart when you start realizing more and more of the corruption. When you're on a battlefield, I don't know about you, but I don't want my soldiers to be emotional roller coasters and lose their shit. I want them to be stable, aligned, grounded, firm, confident, secure, fully capable of walking into whatever comes their way and not lose their shit and sort of freak out when the battle happens. And that is why what is most important right now is the inner world. That is where the training begins. That's where you master this matrix. You don't master the matrix out there. You master it internally. It's the greatest training that you have is your internal world. It's the greatest training. And humanity needs us. They need us to freaking pass the tests so that we can stand on that battlefield together and not lose our shit anymore. Losing our shit means continuing to perpetuate a divide. You're right, I'm wrong. Continuing to think that the people that aren't awake, there's something wrong with them. They're screwing it up for all of us. They're the reason for ... No, they're not. The evolution in human consciousness has a beautiful, natural process to it. It is energy that is doing its thing. And you, the human that has this beautiful ego that thinks it knows how it works and wants to control all of it, thinks it knows how to do this out there. The only job you have in this human journey is to master your internal world so that you break free out of the programming and the deep, deep illusion that you are any of this physical reality, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, beliefs, traumas, blah, 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 so that you can then step out and be in your most aligned state, which is an open heart, kind, compassionate, humble, grounded, and ready for what's to come. But we get distracted and we think that if we can wake up the unconscious, if we can wake up, and there's nothing wrong with waking people up through voices and through information. I mean, that is part of the evolution. That is part of what naturally unravels. That is how it happens. But if there is an emotional attachment to that, okay, if there are emotional ties to, unless people wake up, we're screwed, you're not understanding the evolution. So it's a there's there what's happening is that you're learning how to detach from your own thoughts, your own labels that you think that you are. You're learning how to detach from emotional states. Detachment means that I am not the emotions. Detachment is I am not thought. I'm watching Lori experience thought. I'm watching Lori experience anger. I'm watching Lori experience fear. I'm watching Lori experience joy. You are detaching, becoming the watcher, and you're watching the character be in the movie. So it's not a detachment where you're bypassing. No, 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 no. Quite the opposite. You have descended down into the human body as spirit in form, and you are in it. Bring it on. What else can I feel? What other thoughts can I see? Right? But there has to be a detachment or a watcher so that you can actually understand and remember what you're in. You are not the character. You are starting to watch the character. You are not the evolution in consciousness. You are experiencing the character moving through an evolution in consciousness. There is a big divine plan playing out. And your role here is to remember that you are not the illusion of the character, which brings you into this open-hearted space, this expansion, this receptivity to the world, instead of restrictive, tight, fighting against, arguing against, creating divide over and over and over again, making it about other people being wrong and me being right. That is a restrictive state. When you pop out and you start watching this entire thing while you're still in it, being in it as the human character, you're free. You start realizing, how am I choosing to play in it? Well, I'm going to keep speaking my truth. I'm going to keep sharing it. But if you share truth or you navigate through this through the lens of the watcher, so you're now watching this whole thing, you're at peace. We have to start coming into a state of peace in all of this. Heart-centered openness, peace, calm, stillness, free. If we don't do that, we are perpetuating what it is that we're designed to move out of. So it's going to take longer. And the catch to all of this is that the fastest way through this evolution is going inward. And the hardest thing to do is to go inward. It's much easier to blame the outside, to focus on the outside and try to fix the outside world. Well, if we just fix all these systems, then we'll be in heaven, heaven on earth. We'll be in the new world, the new earth, if we just fix the systems. No, 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 no. This has nothing to do with the systems. This has everything to do with the human. Period. It has everything to do with how a human is choosing to be on the planet. And the best way for a human to start to see how they are being on a planet in a physical reality is to go inward and start investigating all the crevices within their physical body, meaning, what are my thoughts? What are the thoughts? What are the emotions? What trauma? What patterns? What programs? What continues to come up? Until you start to find heaven right here, right now, because you recognize that you're none of it. And then you walk out into the battlefield realizing, holy shit, I just broke out of the deepest chains that I possibly could, which was my own prison. Now all of this is simple and easy because you're just going to love more. You're going to allow more. You're going to see more. It's not going to pull you. You're not going to be in fear. You're not going to fight against, you're just going to share. You're going to share detached, meaning if someone gets it great, if someone doesn't get it great. More stories coming down the loop about this horrific thing and this destruction and this god awful thing. And you remember, this is the evolution. This is how it is designed to unravel. There is nothing wrong with this. How am I being in this? Because how I am being is a direct correlation with how the planet is going to be, how the human collective is going to be. How you be is how you change the world, period. And how you be, maybe I'm taking my kids out of school and putting them in homeschooling. Great. Stop getting angry at the school systems. Realize the power that you have within your own beingness, that you get to choose this, that everyone is doing the best they can. And many, many people are unconsciously stuck in deep fears. You and I are unconsciously stuck in deep fears. You are no better than anyone else out there. Let that sink in for a moment. Start recognizing that. Start being in that when you're on the battlefield. You are no better. You are no wiser. You are no more awake just because you see things that someone else doesn't. Having that frame of reference is still continuing to create some sort of divide in humanity. Can you see yourself in others? Can you watch when you get angry and upset over how someone's being? And can you say to yourself, holy shit, this is the evolution in consciousness. The opportunity that I have right now as this person is choosing something that I would never choose is recognizing, how do I want to be right now? How am I choosing to be right now? That has the strongest, most empowered impact of on the planet. That's how we change an entire planet. And a lot of people won't necessarily believe that until they realize that everything that we are doing isn't necessarily going to change what we're in. It has to change internally, and the reason why this moment on the planet is so powerful, it is a physical, this is the first time that there has been a massive physical, it's the beginning of a physical shift in consciousness. What that means is that the human body and the awareness that we think that we are as the human is finally starting to change states of being, how they are being on the planet in very significant ways. Our actions are changing. That is what is so different. And so we will eventually, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, we'll look back at this time, the last 10 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. And we'll start to see, oh my God, this is when humanity started to step out of the dark, dark systems on the planet and the illusion and imprisonment of their own states of being by choosing new ways of being. And many times we have to be rattled We have to be rattled into what we are in. So you have to be, maybe your job is being pulled away, or you're going through a divorce, or you're in massive grief because somebody just died, or these things happen for you so that you can slow down and go inward. These things are happening in the external world so that we can slow down and go inward. Because eventually we will be standing on the battlefield, and we will not be in these emotional reactions to what's happening. We will see it through the eyes of love, believe it or not, through the eyes of compassion, believe it or not, through the eyes of deep remembrance, believe it or not, a deep knowingness, believe it or not. We'll have years and years. Thank you, Steve, for that super chat. We'll have years under our belt of how we're doing this. We'll realize in the beginning, man, I thought it was about this, this, this. And I'm realizing, holy shit, it wasn't. It was about the deep, 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 deep inner work over and over and over and over again. And how much easier it is to get distracted and to talk about all the corruption and the evil and the messed up shit that's happening on the planet. We like that. One, it's entertaining. And two, it distracts us from our inner work. Again, it's fine. They both go hand in hand. They both deserve to be experienced. But everything that's occurring in your life right now, most likely, I would argue almost everything that's probably occurring in your life right now is asking you to get more still and quiet. It's kind of the phase we're in. And many of us are trying to do everything we can to stay distracted. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions about what you're going through? Can you explain more about death? Does this life story matter if we don't have memories or imprints on our soul from past lives? Does my dad remember me since he's passed? I don't know much about death other than it's just another, it's a, it's a, it's like a, the word is like a, transition. It's just a transition. The soul transitions into a different experience. And the soul remembers its lifetimes. So yeah, your dad remembers your dad as that human that he was, whatever his name was, George or Henry or whatever. Of course, he always remembers. We're all connected. We're all interwoven together as consciousness. We're just experiencing what looks like to be unique, individuated souls. But it's much simpler than that. It's just expressions of source or expressions of God individuating, experiencing itself as spirit and then as soul and then as human. How do you buy your book? Oh my gosh, go to Amazon. It's life-changing. Go to Amazon. Why can't I cry when I need to? You just can't cry when you maybe you don't need to cry. It may feel like you need to cry, but if there's no crying happening, then there's no need to cry, you know? Um, why can't I cry? Thank you. Yeah. Can you explain more with a concrete example how to detach yourself at the same time that you feel? Let's say that you have fearful thoughts. Do you observe yourself from the calling, ceiling, and feel? So, the way that you start to watch yourself, here's how I do it. Here's how I started doing it because it's kind of something that just grows. So, first of all, I started practicing saying, Lori is now going to the bathroom, or Lori is now going to the kitchen. Lori is now waking up. Lori is now putting on her clothes. Lori is now sitting in front of a computer. Lori is now going to the grocery store. Lori is now in the grocery store. Lori is now on the phone. Lori is now answering an email. So I would do my best throughout my day to try to see me as a third person. Right. And the reason I started practicing this, like, just in my everyday, is because it's a lot easier when you're just going about your day to see yourself from the third person. It is much more difficult to see yourself from the third person, which is detaching, which is watching, when you're in deep emotion. That's what's so profound about the awakening process, is that you start realizing just how powerful emotions are, because you believe that you're the emotion when you feel it: anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, stress. Okay. So, first, you want to just start practicing. Lori is looking, not I am. Lori is looking at a candle. Lori is sitting in a chair. Lori doesn't want to go to work. Okay. Start to become a third person. And then when you start to feel an emotion, when you want to say to yourself, Lori is feeling sadness. I forgot who asked this question, but Lori is feeling anger. What happens is it doesn't stop the emotional feeling. Okay. You're not bypassing the emotion and not feeling the emotion. You're watching the you that you think you are feeling it. And when we start doing that, the lens shifts. And then all of a sudden, you're not the emotion. And somehow there's a relaxing into what you're feeling. Somehow compassion starts to arise. And there are emotional states that you will not be able to do this in. So the emotions are going to take you, which means that when the emotion arises, you're in the emotion, you believe the emotion, you want to get out of the emotion, you hate the emotion, whatever that is, and you are swept away by the emotion until something pulls you out. Conversation, going to work, something else pulls you out, right? Then when you are pulled out, the key is, can you look back and see that you were pulled in the emotion? Wow, I was really pulled in that emotion. Man, I really was in it, right? Lori was really in it. Then the next time that it comes up, anxiety, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Whatever arises, it needs to just be seen and felt. Most of the time, an emotion is connected to a thought, 90% of the time. And so instead of, like, perhaps working on, regulating your nervous system or doing some things to kind of calm down your body, I would say recognize thought. What are you thinking with this emotion? This is a little bit more advanced, because first you want to at least acknowledge that you're feeling something and that you are not what you're feeling. So it's practice. It's just constant daily practice. And don't wait until an emotion arises to start becoming the watcher. Detachment is an interesting word, because when we say detached, it feels like we're not going to feel it. And so I try not to use that word, like detaching from emotion, detaching from thought, because immediately the human says, oh my God, that means that I'm not going to be connected to the thought. Then I'm not going to feel emotion. No, it's quite the opposite. The more that you detach from being emotion and being thought, the more that you become the watcher of it, the more intensified the emotions become. Why? Because you're now allowing Lori or whoever to feel. And when you start allowing the emotion to simply be felt, that emotion that you normally would restrict, fight against, attach yourself as, just comes and goes much faster. And when it comes and goes much faster, then more emotions come and go. And then you're going through your day just feeling all kinds of stuff, or feeling absolutely nothing. Now you're like, wait, I'm just kind of in this state of calm, and and chill either. Where's all the emotions, right? And then there could be weeks where you're just like, oh my God, every emotion in the book is moving through me. Does that make sense? Yeah, you can say like a distance. You're creating space. Um, yeah, you can say, I understand why you felt like that. Yeah, you can speak to yourself, speak to you, right? I understand, Lori, why you're going through this. Every emotion you feel is deserving, makes sense. We judge what we feel, like something's wrong with you because you have anxiety. Something's wrong with you because you have sadness. Something's wrong with you because you feel fear. There's nothing freaking wrong with you. There never has been. There never will be. It makes perfect sense why you're feeling what you're feeling. Most likely, you've got these thoughts that are going cuckoo in your head, pulling you into the future or the past, and you can't stop them. You think you can't stop them because you're attached to them and you're not even aware of them. God bless you. Welcome to being a human. And all these emotions arise because of it. And then you get upset with yourself because you're feeling a certain emotion, which is attached to an unconscious thought. And then you're making it worse and you're just going in these loops. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with any freaking emotion you have. There's nothing wrong with any thought that moves through your head, any thought that grabs you. Every thought that you've had is a thought that I've had. Every emotion that you've had is an emotion I've had. Every loop that you've been in is probably a loop that I've been in, and thousands upon thousands of other humans. There's nothing unique around your emotions that you don't like and the emotions that I don't like. There's nothing unique about the thought forms that you have that pull you and the thought forms that I have. We all have the same crap going on. And somehow, when we get stuck in our own inner world, we think there's something wrong with us. We're the only ones feeling this, or we're the only ones stuck in this. We're the only, no, 99% of humanity is experiencing very similar things. We're just not talking about it. We're not talking about it, which is why it's so important to talk about it. It's so important to talk about the difficulty and the challenges and the attachments to the emotional states and what we feel all day long because we have to normalize it. The whole reason I started this series of Untangled is to freaking normalize everything that we don't want to normalize. We want to pretend that we've got it all together. We want to pretend that we're good. We want to pretend that, I've got this all as well. It's like, meanwhile, you've got all kinds of judgments and insecurities and unworthiness and jealousy and shame and all these things. It's like, yes, so do I. Welcome. Welcome to the awakening. Yep. Welcome to humaning. Because the more humble we can get around what we're experiencing, the more we realize we aren't it. If you knew you weren't the emotions, which you're not, you knew you weren't the thoughts, which you're not. You're God. You're a spark of fucking divinity. You're not even physical. You're having this illusionary experience of physicality. You're having this illusionary experience um, of thoughts and emotions and behaviors and darkness and evil and corruption and mind control and I'm in charge and I've got to change the systems and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. Meanwhile, there's this amazing aspect of you that you can call spirit or source or God or consciousness that's just watching the you that you have always thought that you are, this character, and saying, my God, you are amazing as this character. You are doing an excellent job in your costumes. You are freaking nailing the emotions and the thoughts. You are so deeply programmed. Way to go. Bravo for your programs. You have done the humaning well. Now wake the freak up and get going. Now wake up. Now we need you to wake up. Wake up. And when you start waking up, you're going to start judging yourself even more. Because when you are unconscious or unawake to the emotions that you are denying, when you are unconscious and are unawake to the emotions you don't want to feel that you judge are bad, when you are unconscious or unawake to all the thoughts that you are believing, my God, judgment gets worse. Now you're like, holy shit, there is really something wrong with me. I am really messed up. right? When the lights come on and you start to see what you're in internally and externally, you're like, oh, we are royally screwed out there in the world. And I am really messed up in here. It's like, no, you're not. You're waking up out of the illusion. Thanks, Kate. Love you. Thanks for the super chat. Um, this is the power of remembering. There's nothing wrong with you. There never has been. It's so insane that we actually think there's something wrong with us because we are consciousness in physical form in a third dimensional physical reality that you can't get out of. You have to awaken into. And there are rules and ways in which this third dimensional physical reality exists in the density that it exists in. And somehow you're messed up and you're doing it wrong. You can't do it wrong. Do you know how freaking difficult and challenging it is to wake up out of the illusion in this dense physical reality? How hard is it to feel every emotion? It's pretty challenging. How difficult is it to watch all your thoughts? Really difficult, right? But it's a constant, daily, courageous beingness that you're doing over and over and over like a record on repeat. And you're doing it. And yeah, there's going to be days where you're like, I'm out. Like, I want no more. Thanks, Una. My love. I want no more. Where's the tap out button? I'd like it. Right. And that is why it's so courageous for souls and spirits to incarnate at this time, because this moment on the planet, there is a physical evolution that you can't stop and that you're not in charge of. You cannot control this. You don't get to control the speed at which humanity wakes up. Sit back down, relax, and chill out, because you're not in control of how fast humanity does this. You're not in control of how many emotions you're going to feel, how loud or how soft your thoughts are going to get, how your family and friends need to do it a certain way or not do it. You're not in control of any of this. You're simply remembering how to be calm and still and in peace and in love and free while you're in this physical shift. And that, my friend, is quite the endeavor. And none of us have done it before. We're all doing this together, holding hands. We're all doing this together. Thank you, Worldwide Heart Resorts, for your super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If there is one thing that or a couple things that I could leave you guys with, thanks, Una, for the other super chat. Is how can you, one, start watching the you that you think you are more, right? Say your name in third person, right? How can you have more compassion for yourself in this human journey and more compassion for humans in this journey? How can you start to realize that it's not about tearing down, breaking down these systems? It's about how you are choosing to be in this world and in this system. It's about recognizing throughout your day, what thoughts do you continue to believe? What thoughts are you listening to? Thoughts are the most profound experience in the human experience. Thoughts are everything. Thoughts create emotion. Thoughts create your reality. Thank you, Catherine, for the super chat. If we can break free from thought, meaning that we just watch thought and choose thoughts instead of being controlled by thoughts because we are unconscious to them, then we become truly free. Are you feeling any energy from Shakespeare? Can this energy bring awareness? I'm not feeling any energy from Shakespeare, but if you're in my Patreon community, I know we're at time, so it's 10 o'clock, but um, if you're in my Patreon community, if you're not in my Patreon community, you should absolutely join. We do a channeled message every month, and we did a 2 days ago, we did a channeled message from Marilyn Monroe, and it was mind-blowing and shocking and, jaw-dropping, and, it was profound in many, many ways. There were many things that came through from her, um, and the deepest message, that she offered us as energy. So she's a soul, she's a spirit, she's a consciousness that we refer to as Marilyn Monroe. And consciousnesses, spirits, souls, they exist in the quantum field. You can access them at any time. Nothing ever uh, is destroyed, right? Soul, spirit, energy is never destroyed. So any spirit that has ever incarnated as a human is you can access. Anywho, that's what channeling is. So when she came through to share information, the number one piece, number one awareness that she wanted us to have was fear. Um, that how deeply are you controlled by fears in your life? Um, what are you not doing because you're afraid to do it? What are you not saying because you are afraid to say it? What are you not feeling because you're afraid to feel it? And when we really start to break free from fear, every fear, then we truly become free on this planet. And the way that you break free from fear is you've first got to go inward and look at all of the ways in which you are afraid inside. What thoughts create fear? And when you are free inside, when you no longer have fears that are controlling any aspect of your way of being on the planet, which takes a while. A lot of us, it's going to take us a while to get there. But when we are there, then we walk out on that battlefield and nothing that they do impacts us, because fear is the number one manipulation tactic, as you know. It's the number one device in which can be used to control the mind. And it's very, very powerful. So, again, the reason why this internal work is so, so, so important is because when you really start to peel back all the fears that you have in your life around anything and everything, and you're no longer reacting and responding from fear, then you can't be controlled. And if you can't be controlled, then you're truly being the highest version that you're here to be, which is spirit and form. You're free. Anything can be felt, any thought can move through you, any behavior can be experienced, any chaos can be had, anything can arise. And there is this state of being where you know that you're free. And the whole of humanity will eventually get there. But it has to start human by human by human by human. And we start with ourselves, and we have to understand that by us choosing to do this internally so that we can step out and be in new ways, that beingness, being in new ways, is the domino effect of changing this entire planet. And I don't think we trust that enough right now. I don't think we actually believe that that's how it's going to happen. I promise you that's how it's going to happen. You don't change the outside of a house. You have to change the inside of the house, which means the people. The people have to change, and then the external, the structure of the house changes. You can't just change the outside structure of the house and think that the inside is gonna change. Each person is responsible for the shifts. Oh my God, you have to join Patreon. It's so fun. It's so much fun. We're doing a group coaching call Thursday, the 14th, and I bring people up on screen and dive deeper into the questions that they have. And the channelings are always so fun. The Marilyn Monroe channeling, you guys, I swear to you, even if you just join Patreon this month to listen to the Marilyn Monroe channeling, it's worth it. It's Miley, who's here right now, I don't know if she's still here. She messaged me and she was like, "Lori, that was like a mini series." It was like literally listening to a mini series of Marilyn Monroe and JFK. Um, so anyway, even if you just join for a month, it's only $23. You'll be entertained. I'll tell you that much. Um, okay, that's it. Yeah, if you go down below and you hit like more, you click the little more button, you'll see the Dublin event and then you'll see the Patreon. Oded, thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you. All right, you guys, that's it for now. I will see you next Tuesday, 9 a.m. California time for episode 62. Oh, shoot. I'm going to be traveling next Tuesday. We'll see. Maybe I'll move it to Wednesday. Thank you for the super chat, Ursula. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. It means a lot to me. Have you read the Kabbalion? I have not read that book. I've not read it. You guys, please pass this video on. Share it with as many people as you think would enjoy it. Again, hit the like button. Thank you, Ariana, for the super chat. Thank you for being here. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't. It helps. It helps. Yes, I've read, or I've listened to Falling into Grace by Aja Shanti. I love Aja. Oh my God. I listen to him almost every day. Do you talk anywhere about the near-death conference? I didn't share about the near-death conference that I went to. I got too deep into the evolution in human consciousness. But it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Okay, I'll talk about it next time. What do you feel about the Sophia Code? I think she's got a lot of good information. Safe travel. Thanks, you guys. Have you read Women Who Run with the Wolves? Yes, when I was like 12. Long, long time ago. Don't forget to get the book, you guys, also, if you haven't gotten this. This will activate the heck out of you. And you can get it on Amazon. I would recommend getting the audiobook because this can be a little intense reading it. So get the audiobook. Highly recommend it. It will literally activate memories within your DNA. So check it out. Check it out. Okay, love you guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Somehow I'll figure out how I'm going to do Untangled and travel. I may do it Wednesday. Bye, you guys. Love you. Mwah.